Is it time for you to start adding to your real estate team and you're looking to hire a virtual assistant? Well, keep watching because in this video, I'm going to share with you 4 different things you should be aware of before you hire a virtual assistant. Hey, welcome to my channel if you're new. Welcome back if you're true. I'm Dara, real estate investor, entrepreneur, and coach out of Atlanta, Georgia. And this video is about the 4 things that I think you should be aware of before you hire a virtual assistant for your real estate business. Now, to be a little bit more specific, I am going to be talking about using the platform Upwork.com to find virtual assistants for your administrative tasks such as Skiptracing. So the first thing you want to do when you are making a job post on Upwork or a project post on Upwork is you want to set your parameters so that you can accept applications from freelancers all across the world. Now that's my own personal preference, so actually let me take that back. If you want to be American based, more power to you, and if you only want to hire those individuals in the US, that's fine. But a lot of times, just to look out for your bottom dollar and your profit, it's best to venture outside of the country for a more affordable worker. And with that being said, if you are looking for individuals or freelancers who are outside of the United States, the first thing you want to be aware of is the name matching. You want to make sure that the name on their account is the same name on their cover letter and all the correspondence that they do with you. I've actually had a situation where somebody's account was this name, and then in their cover letter they said, hey, I'm such and such, and it's a completely different name. Now, the reason that strikes me, or it struck me as a red flag, and why I'm telling you to be aware of that, is just because it's a little fishy. I mean, of course people have nicknames, people have traditional names versus, Americanized names, but this wasn't the case. It was whatever culture name and a different name in that same culture. It wasn't like a John versus somebody from a different culture. So just make sure. I know it may sound small, but that's something that I kind of raised my eyebrow about. I didn't mention it to them. I kind of just moved on from there. I don't want no problems. So next. Also, when you're looking for a virtual assistant who will do skip tracing for you and you want the most accurate information, accurate phone numbers, it's best to put in your job post that you want somebody with TLO access, for example. There are lots of other different sources out there that the everyday person may not have access to, but you want to leverage someone who does have access to that and have them do the skip tracing for you. So the second thing to be aware of is false claims of TLO access. Now, I had a lot of situations where people were just upfront and honest. Although the post specifically said that you need to have your own access to it, they were like, oh, I don't have TLO, but I have blah, 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 blah. They have something else. And that's cool too, because you were honest with me, so I appreciate you for letting me know that. But there were some people, and there are going to be some people who are like, oh yeah, I have TLO access, oh, I have LexisNexis access, and stuff like that. And what they'll do is just send you a generic screenshot of the homepage. So definitely look out for that, because that's a sign of fraud. They don't actually have the access of their own, and you want to prove and make sure that they do have, whether it's their own or not, at least access to an account so that they can be able to utilize it to skip trace the leads for you. So the way to get around that and not get got, the way to actually have somebody prove that they have access to these high-level softwares is to ask them to skip trace. Give them an example. Say, hey, send me a screenshot, not just the results, send me a screenshot of the results from pulling up this person. And you can pull up your mom, somebody whose number you actually know, their most up-to-date current number. You want to give them the name and address of somebody that you know and tell them to skip trace that person and send you a screenshot of the TLO results page or the Intellius result page. And then that's how you know whether they have access or not. The third thing to be aware of is people who ask to be paid outside of the Upwork network. I personally would not even play with it. I wouldn't even want to take that chance, because again, a lot of times I was dealing with people halfway across the world, and our time differences are so drastic. Our phone number, there's so many red flags to me when someone actually asked me, hey, if we do the transaction outside of Upwork, I can break you off and give you a discount. It'll be a lot cheaper and help you out if you do it outside of Upwork. And his reason was because Upwork takes a huge chunk out of his, profit. So I said, listen, that's not my business. Now, the fourth and final thing to be aware of is probably one of the single most important. They're all extremely important, but this one, hold on to your seatbelts because your mind is gonna be blown. So this tip or this thing to be aware of is people with fake work history. Now, on Upwork, they let you know people's performance. I mean, it tells you pretty much a lot of things. It tells you how many hours they worked, how many jobs they worked, how much money they've made through Upwork. It tells you their recommendations and their ratings from other people who have hired them. It tells you even if I think it's called a budding freelancer or something like that. That's somebody who has not yet gotten a gig or a job through the site, but they have a fresh new profile, and it'll be like you're giving them the first chance if you decide to hire them. So anyway, so Upwork tells you new people and people who are a little bit more experienced. So what you want to do and what you should do is anyone who applies to your gig or anybody who you invite to apply to your gig, you want to, do your digging. You go through their work history since it's provided by Upwork, and what you would see a lot of times, I see like 90% rating or 80% rating, like this is a good thing, but I go down and look and it's just like a 5-star review with no feedback, which is not helpful. So on the other hand, if you ever are going to rate somebody, please be as explicit as possible, and that's just in life in general. So anyway, I would see only 5-star reviews, or somebody say great job, or you did a good job for me, or I was happy with his work. I need you to be like, I gave him 20,000 leads or 2,000 leads. He gave it back to me in this time with this accuracy, and I'm pleased with his work. Just communication was good. Just be specific. So it's not the fact that they were brief reviews that was a red flag to me. The red flag was when I clicked on these people who booked or hired the freelancers I was looking at, or the virtual assistants, or the candidates who I was looking at. And these just set me off. They were either from the same country, a similar country, the same exact city, or something. So that's to me like, okay, it wouldn't be a red flag, but I would prefer somebody who has done work for somebody in the United States, if that makes sense. So I'm an investor in the United States. I want you as my virtual assistant to have done work and worked with somebody in the United States. So the red flag to me was that those people who were hiring this freelancer and giving the reviews were literally all from the same city. And not only that, certain other things were a red flag to me, like the pay. It was a fixed rate pay of only like $5. It was just certain things where it's fixed rate rather than hourly, and it was pretty much all the same pay for all these different things. So I'm like doing my detective work, and if it doesn't sit right with me, then I'm just gonna move on. And I think that that's something that you should take heed to as well. I'm not saying that, of course, somebody living in Bangladesh can't do work for somebody else living in Bangladesh. It's just my own personal preference, and thankfully, I just use all this discernment to hire the right person the first go around. And I didn't have anybody guide me through the hiring process at all. So this is something I was like, let me not bump my head. Let me just literally do all that I have to do and take my time. If you've ever heard the phrase, hire slow and fire fast, that's very true. I wanted to take my time. But again, just take your time and vet people using these 4 tips to be aware of. And those 4 tips, again, were to be aware of a name match. If the name on their profile doesn't match the name in their cover letter or the application or whatever, that's a sign to me that there's something fraudulent going on, perhaps. Be aware that there are people false claiming their TLO access. So make sure you take that step and ask them to prove and skip trace someone that you know and send you the results page. Definitely be aware of, or beware of, people who are asking you to pay them outside of the network, whether that's Upwork, Fiverr, whatever you decide to use. Just be aware that somebody who's trying to pay you or get paid outside, there's probably a reason for that you don't want to have any business with. And lastly, beware of fake job history or job posts or referrals, reviews, feedback, all of that. Beware of the fake ones. So I hope that these 4 tips helped you. If you found this video valuable, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. comment below, subscribe to my channel, and share this video. Let people know what they need to know before they go hire somebody, a virtual assistant or whatever. So, all right, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one.